Vanuatu and this large coalition of member states of the United Nations have come together to ask the definitive authoritative source of international law to apply our system of laws and norms to this new context of climate change and to lay out a framework for the responsibility of nations to prevent damage to the climate system and to explore their responsibilities in cases where they do harm other countries.
So specifically, what's expected to happen at the International Court of Justice today?
Today, the countries are tabling their draft resolution before the UN General Assembly, and the UN General Assembly will vote. And since they have the majority of the members behind backing this proposal, it's likely to pass, and then the UN General Assembly will be able to bring the request for an advisory opinion before the International Court of Justice. This is the first step in a long process.
Yes, it really is long and quite complex, so thank you for explaining it to us. Which countries have backed the bid and what influence might their support have on the decision?
It's quite remarkable, in fact, the number of countries and the variety of countries. It started off, as you mentioned, with leadership from Vanuatu and a number of other small island states that really exemplify the risks that nations and societies face from climate change. But they have garnered support from a range of countries, a range of legal systems, including large economies, including Australia, France, and Norway.
What is the expected outcome on the resolution?
It's hard to say exactly what the parameters would be. As we said, there's a long process. There will be an opportunity for states to provide comments. There will be hearings. The court has the jurisdiction to frame the questions in the way that they think is most relevant. But this is an opportunity for the authoritative source of international law to apply our system of laws and norms to this new context. The world is engaged in a process of trying to sort out how we move ahead and what our responsibilities and obligations are in this world where our assumptions are being completely remade by the new context of climate change. And this opinion has the potential to lay out those obligations and to validate the facts of climate change and the science of climate change, which is a critical aspect of the whole process of getting nations and societies on the same page in order to be able to move forward to address this challenge.
It appears, though, it wouldn't be binding, though, but it could possibly set a precedent.
Exactly. This is an advisory opinion. And in fact, there are great strengths to the fact that it's an advisory opinion. If it was a contentious opinion between two parties, then the decision would only apply to those parties. This is an opportunity to have a general interpretation of international law and our legal principles that filter down to all of our legal systems around the world. So this is an opportunity to understand how our legal system fits this new scenario.
Yeah, and as you say, it has an impact worldwide. How significant would this be for this region, for Pacific countries who are really feeling the effects of climate change as we speak?
The urgent need is for countries to increase their ambitions to reduce their climate change emissions. And this, a strong ruling here, that lays out countries' obligations could serve as the basis for domestic legislation. It could increase countries' ambitions in negotiations. It could change public opinion in some cases about this issue. It could also encourage corporations that take their responsibilities seriously to up their ambitions.
How much does it matter that the world's biggest polluters, the US and China, didn't support this bid?
The responses to climate change are coming in a jumble of many different processes and ways that include the political. And when other large countries, when the EU takes a major step forward, that puts political pressure on the United States. And when the United States takes a step forward, for example, that puts political pressure on China. It's not a neat and simple and straightforward process, but every step forward moves the whole process forward.
Finally, Sandra, how closely are fossil fuel companies watching these developments? What are the implications for them?
Whatever countries decide to do as a result of the advisory opinion from the court will affect law and policy and regulation of fossil fuel industries. And so I think this is a big question for them, and they're, I'm sure, watching.
Indeed. Sandra Nichols, Chom, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.